good out there. Let's see. Show them how good they look. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen like it do. Oh yeah, well things will change and leaves will fall and it will rain. Transform before your eyes. No time for chasing. Why me? Why that happened to me? Oh, you never know just how life is gonna go. So you jump in your boat, row, row, row. Jump in your boat, row, row, row. All together now.
Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could.
All right, I'm gonna take this opportunity to do a little preaching. Oh yeah, you gotta aim high, go for your pie in the sky. Go ahead and trust yourself. Everything will right itself. Oh yeah, life's a stream. Now go ahead, follow your dream. Jump in your boat, row, row, row. Jump in your boat, row, row, row. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen like we do it. All right, this is your turn to shine. Something's gonna happen
And it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it's new. It would.
Thank you. Yes, I just feel like a hand is just reached out. Do you see this behind me? A hand has just reached out and pulled my heart up. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I appreciate people taking time out of their day to come be in the audience. I would appreciate it if you're the type of person that gives on a monthly basis. There's a Patreon page where you can donate $1 a show. There's a tip jar on the way out. Today, we have Bob Kraemer, Jimmy Kennedy, and Operation Regroup. And I think, that was Nate, our artist. Nate, come up here just for 1 second. Nate is a traveling art fella, and he has been here the last 2 shows and done our artwork today. And we were talking about, he said, well, what do you want on there? And I said, I don't know, Regroup, helping out. And then I said, I don't know, Billy. And we both had the idea at the same time of somebody reaching out, and helping somebody else. Now the bench is blocking the artwork, so we'll post a picture of it later. But Nate, thank you. He's also running a little bit of second camera. Thank you so much. Off you go. We'll look him up sometime. We'll try and put a link or something in there. Bob Kraemer to the stage. Bob Kraemer. Bob Kraemer. This is Bob Kraemer. May I? Bob Kraemer.
Yes.
Pin this little microphone.
Oh, you can.
This is the part of the show where I show my technical skill, because in the pageant world, you've got to have a skill, and mine is pinning on lapel microphones.
Well, I'm on it. I'm in.
What was your skill in the pageant, Bob?
Swimsuit contest.
Oh, yes. Was that the time of the spandex or the boxer? The
Speedos.
Speedos. Yeah. Oh, God, what's your favorite color? What's your sign?
Sign is Sagittarius, favorite color blue.
Okay.
And
Them dogs belong to you that are over there
That's
howling
it.
all of a sudden?
yeah, they want to hear my song.
They want to hear your song. Okay, so you are a songwriter.
Singer, songwriter, guitarist. And I've just finished my first album. It's called Bob Kraemer.
And it's a poster around the corner.
Kraemer.
That's all right.
We got our
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, Trina, the lovely Trina. It's like Vanna White, only it's the lovely
Oh, there you
Trina.
go. I want a vowel.
There we go. Absolutely.
Careful.
Whoa! It's all good. Disasters.
Takes a
And it
hit.
was a smashing success.
It was a smash. That's it.
There
You
you
got
go.
it. It's also a physics.
Oh, it's not gonna work because
It's a
you gotta pull
physics
that leg
problem.
back.
Okay, it's a physics issue.
Physics issue. Anyway,
Okay.
so I just finished my first album.
What
It's
is it?
called Bob Kraemer.
Yes. What does it have to do with physics?
Well, it's all about the universe and E equals MC squared.
When did you write all the songs particularly for this album?
Yes, all except the second song, which is the song I'm going to play.
Okay.
And we start the video on this for this piece. It's called When a Thing Is Gone. And a friend of mine, Bill LaPetra, started the song, and I finished it. And it's called When a Thing Is Gone.
That's like that song Wagon Wheel. Bob Dylan started it and whoever they were finished
Old
it.
Crow Medicine Show.
Old Crow Medicine Show finished
Oh,
it.
yes, okay, sure.
So I'm saying this has a high possibility of being a fabulous song you're gonna play for us.
I hope so.
Okay, so this is like, I like the idea because we don't think about albums as concepts anymore, you know, because it's like singles that we're in the world of singles.
Right.
So what was your concept for this album, Mr. Kraemer?
It was, I guess, from aloneness to all oneness.
Oh, I like that. That's a pithy little line too. From aloneness to all oneness. That we could make some money with that line, I reckon. The song that you're going to perform for us is
When a Thing Is Gone.
When a Thing Is Gone. Now, do you want to say anything about it before you perform it?
It's just about when something ends, instead of staying down, you pick yourself back up and go on.
Life's a stream. Just get in your boat and row, row, row. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna give you this.
Oh, so I have two?
You're gonna have to. I'm gonna exit the stage, and I'm gonna let you address your audience, and then perform your number, and then I'll come back up.
I don't know if that'll get muffled. All right, here it is. When a Thing Is Gone. When a thing is gone, there's no sense looking for it. It's not like something that you placed in your pocket and found it when you least expected. On a river of denial, you're gonna ride there for a little while. But she's not hurting, she's not thinking about you. So go out and refine your smile. Now there you are, you're stuck like Mona Lisa, with the sadness in your eyes. And love is gone, can't find the rhyme or reason. Will you wake up? Will you ever realize? Oh, when a thing is gone, there's no sense worrying about it. Or the sleepless nights, or who was wrong or right. The emptiness just lingers on. Oh, when a thing is gone, up like Mona Lisa, with the sadness and the sorrow in your eyes. Ooh, love is gone, you can't find the rhyme or reason till you wake up and you finally realize that what's done is done. It's surely time for moving along. Pick yourself up and just dust yourself off when a thing is gone. Ooh, when that thing is gone. When a thing is gone. When a thing is gone.
Good, good.
This is show number 36. I forgot to write it up there before. Just in case anybody's wondering. Bob Kraemer, that was delightful.
Thank you, my dear. And it's a pleasure to be here. Always wonderful to be up in Gulfport.
It is. And where are you going to be performing next?
Next down in Sarasota.
Okay, world. Out there in the world, Sarasota. Okay, I'm going to take this from you, and you're going to grace us again at the end of the show.
Will do. It'd be my pleasure.
Okay, I'm going to sneak this around you. You may exit.
Got it.
Stage right.
Thank you, my dear.
You.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Jenny Kennedy to the stage, please. I don't know if you guys notice how active I am. I'm just, active right now because I am wearing wellness clothing. Do you see this pair of pants and these lovely pockets? And the fact that it go up here in the back, it's taller, and here it hugs my hips and I've got pockets. This was just a pair of plain leggings that my washing machine tore up, and I tried to sew the elastic back together in 2 places. Now that is ugly. And Jenny Kennedy said, and then she brought them back to me with these pockets. This is Jenny Kennedy. Give her.
Yeah. Ow.
This one from Gypsy. Let's sit down, honey. May I put this? Okay, should we pin it on you, or you want to hold it? I'll pin it. Here we go. This is my skill. I'll pin it. I'll do it. Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. So, what have you got for us this time?
Well, I brought a couple of bras that I wanted to show you guys. So Laura mentioned wellness clothing. So I'll just say a little bit about that. Clothing has the ability to influence our lymphatic system, which is a major part of our wellness. It's a big facet of it. And so it can either support that system, or it can cut it off, or it can be kind of neutral. And one of the things that I've done to kind of boost my own wellness is try to make clothing that supports. I've worked on Broadway doing costumes. There's a lot of dancing. You need full range of movement to do all of that. And so I've taken some of that knowledge into creating clothing that's helped me with some of my own health issues. And in doing that, the demand was there and people have asked for things. So I've brought in one of my favorite items, which is these bras. And first they're completely made out of upcycled materials. So these are, you might recognize some of this material is in Laura's pocket. And my dress is also one of the bras with a skirt added onto it. But the way that they work, so I don't know if you want to hold this and I'll kind of show. When you have a waistband that goes across, or a band on your bra and it goes directly across, it cuts off your lymphatic system. So it prevents the fluids from being able to move freely.
I'm making little, if people laugh, it's because when you say things like cut off the lymphatic system, I'm going, so I'm interpreting her speech. Carrie, I'll try not to distract. Carrie,
the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump or a mechanism that it uses to push that through. You actually to move and bend and dance, whatever, all of the things that you do in life, move those things around. So one of the other things that I realized in creating clothing that supports that system is it actually starts to deliver what's called a micromassage, which is creating a mechanism that supports the movement of those fluids and encourages the movement of those fluids. When you saw your pants, you didn't really want to get rid of them, and I saw this huge opportunity. And so when I attach the waistband so that it kind of V's in the front, that's so that when the weight and the movement, when you're bending around, it's actually massaging her hips. Right? When you first tried them on.
I pulled these pants up. You know how you pull on a pair of pants and they kind of, your waist, and there they are, your pants are on. I pulled them on and I was like, are they still there? Because they go over this.
Yeah. It matters. It helps.
And when I bend over, look. It doesn't, no plumber.
Also important detail, no plumber's crack. So on the bras, I have it come up to a V in the front. Some of them you can see more than others. So this is one of the larger sizes. On the larger sizes, I make the straps wider because, you know, there's a lot of weight being
Let's look at the inside of the front too.
I always use a soft cotton material on the inside. The materials that I use, because they're all upcycled, I use pieces that I know will function well for where the compression is being delivered. So there's always a little top piece that stretches, usually a 4-way stretch. Hopefully some of you know what that means. Just means it has more give to it.
Like just to be able to make a piece of clothing out of all these different stretchy materials, this woman is a wizard, because some places stretch a little tighter and some places have a little more give, so she's a wizard.
And you don't always want the same amount of give or stretch in the same place. In fact, especially with breasts or on hips, if you have materials that stretch slightly differently, then that's when the micro massage really comes into play. On the back, there's an opening, which not only allows a little bit of venting of heat, you can see it on this one, but it also allows the distribution of give so that you really get that massage. And thank you for letting me share that with you.
I have something I want to pass on to you. Okay. Well, some of you may already know this, but I used to be a bag lady, but I'm not anymore, so I'm giving away this big bag. No, I've been giving away a lot of stuff. I've given away a truckload of stuff, including the truck. And at one point, I had all this padding in the back of my truck, and I no longer need these. And so I was wondering if I could give, because not only does she make amazing clothing, you make...
My entire brand is rooted in wellness. So there's a lot of massage tools, meditation cushions, music therapy, clothing that's meant to increase and support your health, either through the micro massage and lymphatic support, but also with color.
Gypsy Guild, see it up there? So do you believe, could you repurpose these somehow?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Thank you. You would be doing me a favor, because look, this is bigger than a bread box. And I gave it away, so I'd like to gift that to you. Okay, so when we first met, What were those things that we were talking about? Remember those little, they were little micro, it was like these little cleaner upper cells, and they had that, and you showed me a microscopic picture of them, and they looked like little robots.
Mitochondria?
Eee, was that him? I don't know.
Was it?
We've
I know we've
talked
talked
about
about them.
So many things. Well, tell me something interesting. Give us a little 3 minutes.
Okay.
Give us a little 3 minutes pseudoscience talk. I'm
Okay.
not pseudo.
So, in my brand, I use a lot of imagery. I think conversation helps people heal. So I've created a bunch of symbols that I use to either encourage conversation. One of them is the koi fish. And the koi fish, if you Google spiritual meaning, there's a lot there. But if you Google history and origins of it, the koi fish actually started out as a carp. It was a fish that if you were given this fish as a gift, it was to snub your family. And so Confucius, when he was a small boy, was given one. He was too young to see that insult. He saw a living creature and he loved it. He adored it and spent time meditating with it. And over time, the fish began to start changing color. And when the fish fully transformed, he felt inspired to release it into his family's rice fields. And in doing that, their carp turned into koi fish. And they had 12 distinct colorings. And so I like to use that as a symbol to inspire people that even if you haven't seen this thing that you imagine your body being capable of, that it might still be capable of
Like
it.
miraculous
Yeah.
transformations happen all the time.
Yeah, and that, like, I want to encourage people not to limit themselves, because each person's unique story and their solutions, we learn from each other, and I want to encourage the conversations that help us to elevate and try new things. So, awaken.
Awaken. How are we feeling out there? Y'all awake?
Yeah.
All right, that was pretty good. Was that good? Did you guys enjoy
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, one more. We got
One more.
Go, Jenny. Go,
Okay,
Jenny.
okay.
Go, Jenny.
There's so many. Okay. Another thing that I like to, so I have a symbol of a bug, and I have the word energy under it. So for every cell in your body, there's 8 to 10 microbes. A healthy person is actually less human cells than human cells. And so in meditating, I also communicate with the parts of myself that keep myself in balance, like the healthy bacteria, the microorganisms, and I use this symbol, it's a beetle, to encourage people that sometimes we plateau. We do everything we can think of, and then we get to a point where we're like, I don't know, I'm doing everything I can for my body. If you step outside yourself and remember that there's more to your body than just you, you can actually talk to those places and co-create new system or create new ways of navigating that plateau.
All right, so you're encouraging a dialogue between your mind and these different cells and bacteria in your body.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Now, Jenny's been on the show before, and she presented me with a lovely meditation cushion that Trina's sitting on. And I had been meaning to meditate for years. And when she presented, made out of recycled materials, and so when she presented it to me, I said that I would honor her gift by meditating 15 minutes a day for 1 week. I figured that was a fair exchange of my time. And I had always, we all know we should be meditating, and nothing new about this. It has been a gift in my life. And I don't use the cushion anymore. It sits on that beautiful wooden chair. But so I want to thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
For having brought me that. Okay, Jenny. What's this little stone?
Oh, this is a gua sha. So this is a little jade stone that I like to use. Making those meditation cushions, they're quite heavy. And I do a lot of baskets too, so I get some carpal tunnel. And I'll hold this stone in my hand and squeeze. Jade is rich in magnesium. You have bacteriophages and different...
Phages, that was the ones, those phages.
Oh, those.
Oh, look at my people, the phages. Okay, don't get off on the phages.
Okay. That's a rabbit hole. I suggest
you guys have
Google.
homework? Carry on.
Anyway, the different bacteria and things on your hands help your body to assimilate the minerals through the stone. So it's rich in magnesium, which helps soothe the muscle, helps soothe, an inflamed nerve, like carpal tunnel. You can also use this to release stress out of your face. We're going into cold season, so if you get swollen lymph nodes, you can use it there. I get a little bit of sciatica, so I also use it here. My mom, who's been an art teacher, she just retired about a year ago, has carpal tunnel in both hands. I gave her 2 of these. She sleeps with them in her hands, and she, for the first time in 2 years, can actually hold things when she wakes up. So,
Miracle cure. Okay, somebody get on that. Who's got carpal tunnel out there in the audience? All right, that ma'am. Can we get a couple of these in this lady's hand so she can?
Yeah.
And you report back to us. 3 months. Okay. All right, Jenny, that's awesome. Thank you so much for being here and for saving my pants. Like literally,
They were in bad shape.
And I'm leaving to go to New Zealand for 2 months tomorrow. And these pants are so wonderful and light, and I wanted to bring them, but they were so torn up around the waist that my friend Linda, who, likes to keep me looking good. Bless her heart. Linda's like, throw those pants away. And I thought, well, because it's kind of stretchy, I thought maybe Jenny could use the fabric in one of her
And
other
I was
things.
tempted. but I saw these darning stitches, and
did you see how I sewed that elastic?
Yeah, and my soul was like, no, she's not done with those.
Oh, I love these pants. They make me so happy. Thank you so much, Jenny.
Thank you.
Has Linda seen the pants yet? I don't know that she has.
I think
She'll be very happy for me. I can put my hands in my pockets, stand around here with my hands in my pockets, and tell you a little something. The last show, we had a show here 2 weeks ago that was the kids show. All the guests were under 11, I think. And the audience, it was the kids and their very high achieving parents, because the parents had gotten the kids here, and their brothers and sisters and a couple of other friends. Never has there been a more quiet audience. It was like you could hear a pin drop out there. Them mothers and all them kids, everybody rigid. So, at ease, you don't have to sit bolt upright in straight back chairs, but no murmur. Okay, moving on. You're rich, and I have everything I've ever even thought of asking for, and my needs are met, and you have everything you need and more. Abundance surrounds you. I'm rich and you have, and you're rich and I have everything I've ever even thought of asking for. My needs are met, and you have everything you need and more. Abundance surrounds you. Worry can take up an awful lot of your mental space, and this is the Laura's Foggy Fact pseudoscience portion of the show. You can only think about one thing at a time. You can flip back and forth between your dinner and your phone and your dinner and your phone, but really you can only think about one thing at a time. So when I find myself thinking something that is causing me pain, making me unhappy, worrying me, embarrassing me, guilting me, shaming me, I can just sing that song, and I get through 2 or 3 verses. I just did it twice there for you all, and I feel better. So there you go. Just think about that. That one's never been recorded, so but you can go back and watch it on the show. The riches that we have on our little block here in Gulfport, in our community, and on our planet. We are going to have Operation Regroup up on the stage. Operation Regroup to the stage!
How you doing, Laura?
Yay. Name?
TJ.
TJ. TJ, you get to be in charge of a microphone.
All right.
James, come on up. Come on. Get on up here. You're going to have to muscle in. Don't want to be shy. Don't bump that. Somebody can sit by you. I'll back up. How we do? Get a microphone that
You
way.
can get in close.
Sit in there.
All right. Now, are we a group or are we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Come on. Here's that. You want to sit there? Are you good there? Or stand? You know, okay. How are we doing? Are we in?
All right.
All right. Give us your names.
Name is Clinton Gardner. Jared Proctor. Stone Handy.
I'm James Briggs. TJ Neer.
Evan Conrad.
Okay. What the heck are you boys up to?
Well, thanks for having us on your show, by the way, Laura. I love this. This is awesome.
He's got a mic, so you just keep that one down the
Yeah,
bottom. You
okay.
three get that one, and you
You got
get
it.
that one.
So we're Operation Regroup. We are a veteran-founded organization. We are 501c3. We basically just all hang out together. We're looking at
Well, that's
like we're always looking at raising our community. You know, basically the way we go about that is through camaraderie and commitment to our community. You know, so we're focused on self-development though. So by doing that, we kind of all raise each other up and create this atmosphere that we can just express ourselves and be ourselves and ultimately help people around us as much as we can. It was founded by Miles Manis. He was sitting in the VA clinic and realized that this wasn't working.
Wait, Miles Manis when? Like how long ago?
This was
2018. Yeah, 2018,
Okay.
so not that long ago. But
And is this just a local group or is this a?
yeah, we're in Gulfport.
Okay, Gulfport group.
we have hopes
Oh,
of
yeah.
expanding in the future, maybe pushing it out to like Tennessee, Kentucky, and then maybe Oregon. That's where Miles went out to spread it and try to make it grow some more.
It can be replicated.
Yeah.
Right.
But this is
Yeah.
the home chapter.
Okay, now what I enjoyed working alongside of some of you all at the tree memorial. It was one of those. There was 3,000
750.
What was the number, Stone? You know what it is.
1,380.
There it is.
stakes.
But there's 1,000 more have been torn down since.
Okay. Anyways, there were thousands of stakes for an art project that needed to be staked in the ground, and there were several people out here today, Beth being one, that showed up to help, and it just seemed like, and it was early. The call for help was show at sunrise. I'm like, are you kidding?
7 a.m. We were there.
Some of us were a little late.
Every one
So-
of those trees represents 400 square foot of shade, so multiply 1,480 stakes times 400, and that's how much shade you've lost.
Some more
But
homework.
not replacing the trees. That
Right.
was the question.
Anyway, but what we did was, you guys were out in the community helping. Were you guys the first ones there?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we were
see,
there bright
you
and
guys
early.
probably gave her
Yeah,
some
we were.
Priya Egan who did that project. Can you imagine you got thousands of stakes to get in the ground and it's sunrise and you're there and you're just there. And then these fellas show up.
Indeed.
Yeah, it was
we
good.
did. The hands were nice and raw by the end of the time period. We got it done though.
What
So.
so hold that to your mouth when you're talking. Thank
All
you.
right, no problem.
What give me so that's a project that I know I've seen you all jump into action and be good natured, and man, we were rolling too, weren't we? It was good. I was late. Most coffee.
No, I was saying that our hands were nice and raw by the time we got done with all those stakes and everything. So I
Yeah,
was like,
but
well,
we're always looking, to help out in the community any way that we can. It's therapeutic for us. We get together and be able to talk through, whatever we have going on in that day, that week, this life, whatever,
Yeah.
And then we get to help each other and help people around us, and we're focused on community. That's
Yeah.
one of the biggest building blocks to what we're doing. It really helps us develop and grow ourselves. It gives us an atmosphere in which we can talk with each other, and even it's very inclusive to other people as well.
Yeah, I rolled right up and they let me hammer steaks.
It's like, come on in. We're all about, come be yourself.
You were running the line.
I was running the lines.
Oh, yeah, you were.
Woo, I was cracking the whip.
One of our, you see the PTSD, one of our taglines is post-traumatic strength development.
Strength development.
Right, and so we're trying to take the PTSD and turn it straight on its head. It's something that, the only way out is through. Mm-hmm. And so our mission statement is promoting self-growth through camaraderie and commitment to community. And so what we find is that being out in the community, being able to piggyback on some of the other events that are there, and just being able to provide help with each other, that camaraderie, that we grow as individuals. We've got an inclusive messaging platform where we can all get a hold of each other very quickly. When things come up like this show, we can pop it in there, we can all get together and be able to go out and really kind of spread the awareness. And that's what I think is important with the Fallen Tree Memorial is not just the fact that we were there to drive a bunch of stakes in the ground, is that we had a bunch of people walk by and say, what is this for? And we got to spread that awareness. And just back of the napkin math, that's 560,000 square feet of shade, right? So what we're doing is inclusive for everybody, focused on veterans. It's a heavy proportion of, but really it's scalable from a perspective of anybody can benefit from this.
Yeah, like Evan was saying, it has a lot to do with also giving vets, not only just, we like you said, we were exclusive with the vets, but we've also started branching out into like the community base. But it gives everybody, it gives vets especially a sense of purpose. Coming up out of the service and stuff, there's a lot of kind of jobs and career paths that don't really mesh in with the community too well and how you deal with things. So our group kind of gets together and allows a veteran to be able to have that sense of purpose and be able to bring and give back to the community in that way, causing it to have a brotherhood effect and just a tight-knit organization of guys that always watch out for each other.
And girls.
That's a big aspect of healing too.
And girls, right?
It is. It helps with
And it's
healing.
co-ed.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're not alone on that aspect, and it really does change the way you feel and the way you organize your mentality with the world outside. You kind of don't feel like you got dropped on your head on the way out the door.
There's always stuff that's going to happen in our lives that's just the way it is. It's not all going to be sunshine and rainbows as much as we'd love it to be. But ultimately, it's how we recover from that and what we do and the resiliency that we show. And as a group, it's like we are so powerful. We're the strongest. This is the strongest thing I've been a part of.
You guys look pretty good. Don't they look pretty good? They got shining eyes. They got smiles on their faces. They look pretty good. Look pretty good.
Thank you. I mean, we've all of us have at one point or another dropped our hats and gone over, like 150, 200 miles to save the other one. Every one of us has done that in our own way.
And probably a lot of little old ladies too.
Oh yeah, they love it.
So describe some other projects you were a part of. Or something nice you've done for some. Tell me something nice somebody did for somebody. Something.
Well, we did help a homeless vet. We gave him a sailboat, that way he could get out the rain and out the cold.
That was Operation P.O. Box. Basically, the idea is that when you're homeless and you want to get a job and everything, you need an ID. And if you don't have an address, it's kind of hard to get an ID. So what we did is we started Operation P.O. Box, where we helped get homeless on their feet again by giving them an ID and then setting up with jobs and housing and anything that we can find in order to support.
That helped out a lot.
I think also it's important to know that we have the availability to present veterans that do suffer from PTSD. There's a PTSD coach on Android, there's a PTSD coach on iPhone, there's a We Connect program, there's a Veterans VA for everybody that covers what does PTSD mean. Some people don't even know they have it, they just feel uncomfortable and hard to function and isolate. And with a group of people, they've already got brothers they can feel safe with, and that's a big one.
Yeah, even somebody myself, like been in the core group and kind of risen through and try to be part of it exclusively because I enjoy it so much. For a long time, I kind of was in denial over having PTSD. And these guys were always pushing me because I didn't want to go to the VA. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to go to the VA. It's okay. It's perfect. Yeah, I know, right? And so I went and did my physical and stuff like that, and they were like, yeah, you got some. And I was like, what? But it makes sense. And what it is, I was like, man, I'm so thankful because I have this group of guys, and if we have an issue mentally or anything, when you have PTSD, you kind of like feel overwhelmed. Like it's almost like you're digging in a little hole of life, and all of a sudden you look up and there's a huge mountain. You're like, you know what I mean? So that helps you out when you know when you're not alone, and that really does bring a sense of gravity and like grounding to you as a person. It helps a lot.
We learned a lot too that Jared is using music to, you know, come out of
Oh
that.
man, that helps out so much.
Jared's
Just
our
playing the guitar.
Jared's our own personal Lila Jackson.
I hope so. One day.
We got a
question.
question from the audience.
I have two.
Speak up, speak
I
up.
have two questions. One, are you all veterans?
Are you all veterans?
Not all of us, but the majority of us, yes.
Okay, and is this like y'all's job, or is it just like?
Is this like a job?
This is a
or?
volunteer.
This is all
program.
volunteer. We all have our own
Just
individual.
chip in.
We get a heck of a lot out of it, though.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of substance to this, and a big fun part of it, for me at least, is being able to go and experience new stuff and expose the guys to it. So it's like we look at different forms of holistic healing as well. Going down the process of like big pharma and all that doesn't necessarily always work. So being able to find alternate means in order to cope or deal with any of the stuff that we have going on is ideally what we're looking at. And I call it giving everyone tools for their toolbox. So it's you pick up things along the way, and then it'll either work for you or it doesn't. So being able to go and do some sound bathing, or you go into like different forms of yoga, breathing, meditation, whatever. If you find something that works for you, you find something that works for you and take it. And so I think a big problem is a lot of times people tell you go love yourself, or people tell you to go meditate. But what does that mean? How do you do that? And like a lot of times we don't know. You can just sit there for a while and have no idea what you're doing. But if you actually learn like these different methods and techniques that other people have learned, then you can like kind of share that with others, and that's the greatest gift that you can give anyone. Because now whenever that incident comes at 2 a.m., instead of calling somebody or doing the wrong thing, you can apply those tools and then hopefully be able to like make it through that night.
Yeah, I can attest to that coming from somebody who's never done anything like that with the meditations and stuff. I kind of corporate world mindset, work my ass off doing stuff, and coming into this, I've kind of learned the whole thing about meditation and centering yourself, and it's been quite a journey. You know what I mean? It's interesting. Some people look at me when I'm in the regular world doing business, and they're like, "You do what?" And I'm like, "Yeah, just because I don't look like, doesn't mean I don't partake. I like it." It's part of it's part of being part of these guys. It's actually brought my guard down, because when I first was introduced to this stuff, I was like, "No, I ain't doing that." I'm a gearhead. I ride big horsepower engines and stuff. And me doing meditation, but I've come to enjoy it. Sorry, go ahead, Alex.
Go ahead. I think that's a really important point. When you think about, I was a football player growing up.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of these guys, were in the Army, and you think about the
Marine Corps.
the toxic masculinity, Marine Corps,
We don't talk about that.
whatever it may be. You think about some of the ideas of masculinity and what it means to, be a male growing up, and some people call it toxic masculinity and things of that nature. But to be around a bunch of other guys that are definitely guys, and we get to go do yoga and sing and dance and kind of do some of that other stuff is really important.
We're definitely guys, but they get to do yoga and sing and dance.
Got a question in the back.
To that point, is it all guys?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
We have some of the most powerful women in our group. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Probably more powerful than some
Yeah,
of us.
we got some badass girls there.
Talking about you, Stacy.
Question in the front here.
Yeah, it's actually more of a statement than a question, but my experience with meditation was I couldn't sit and do the thing. For me, meditation came through a camera lens.
Yeah.
I get focused, I lose myself, I lose track of time, and people that know me personally know that I can just forget about time. I'll go out in the morning to shoot a sunrise. Next thing I know, I'm getting hungry, and it's 12:30, and I started at 5:30, and I don't know where 7 hours disappeared to. So it's just a matter of focusing. And however you
I
do
think
that.
it's important to point out that Larry's a member of the group as well, and actually made the introduction to us. And I'm on the board now, and what we're doing is trying to get them more involved in the community. So when I'm meeting with the mayor, when I'm serving with the chamber, and they need bodies to come be involved in the community or Lower Shepherd Show needs groups, our foundational need men and women. If you need bodies, that's what they're here for. We're here to
And it's
give
back to the
but-
point I was making earlier. You can only think about one thing at a time. And if you're thinking right through the viewfinder of your camera, you're not worried about the guy that fucking cut me off and tracking and the guy in the grocery list. And I can't believe my wife wants me to get bricks, because you're focused.
It's exactly
Another
that.
thing that's being covered is what we're learning to do is you build a foundation, you become comfortable with yourself, so that the outside outside order and the peer pressure doesn't take place. And by taking the tools of art and music and art, and that's what I use coming out of Vietnam, is when I'd start stressing over things that I finally started figuring out something's really wrong, because they didn't have PTSD. You know, they hadn't defined it. And so I got into photography, and I took photography. I got into woodwork, did woodwork. I got into everything. Time I started thinking about that, I realized I had to not fight it, because you can't. Turn away and do something constructive, do something that
Help
contribute to
somebody.
the community, feel like you're a part of it,
Yeah.
but have a foundation. When somebody says, "Oh, you fought a war," and it's like, "Yep."
That's
I
exactly
don't
what it's
really
like,
care
yeah.
what you think,
Yeah.
or like that, because this is strong, and we help each other be strong that way.
It's finding different forms of meditation, and it's exactly what you said. You don't have to sit and just expect, like, I'm meditating now. It's you. You had the old timers that would go out going fishing. They probably won't tell you
they
that
were
they're
meditating.
meditating.
Of course they were.
Exactly.
They are
You
meditating.
gotta get that fly right where you need it. Gotta pay
Exactly.
attention. Wait for that fish.
So to chime in on it a little bit, Jared and I, one of the things we agree on a lot is that, like I said, I'm kind of a gearhead of sorts. I love like motorcycles and trucks and cars, but meditation for me also is sometimes putting, a little bit of country music on my truck, rolling the windows down, sitting and cruising 45 miles an hour.
That's right, and just sing along.
Just sing
and your
along
brain
and go,
is
and you
doing
hear,
that one
and
thing.
you hear the growl of the engine. that's a form of meditation. It's been like that. I was raised on a dairy farm in upstate New York, and I used to do that in the tractor too. You know what I mean? There's forms of it. Everybody has a different way, but I also agree with the whole, sitting down and mentally just being yourself and like being one with it. I still gotta learn it. I got a long ways to go on that one, but.
Meditation is focus.
Meditation
Yeah.
is focus. And getting like into like the kind of where you just put yourself back to. I think a lot of times when we get in the city and we're all around each other, we move so fast. We're just like answering all these phone calls, answering this email, and then we feel this energy from each other and we feed off of that. And so we slowly but surely just have this really high tempo. But whenever you go out to nature, you go out to the beach, what happens? You hear the waves crash and come back. So it's kind of like a lot of things that I like to do is like remove us from like where we're at and put us like out in nature or something like that, and then all of a sudden your tempo slows down. You kind of tune yourself and you kind of come back and return to society ready to go.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of things that we like to do when we do like our retreats or anything like that. Just focus on all these different tools and then move it to a different place and kind of get yourself back to normal, and then come back to it.
Okay, I like to give people gifts when they come, and this is, I'm giving away baggies. Remember I'm giving away baggies full of stuff. These are just little sort of single serve toothbrushes and wipes or something.
You got a random
dipping
stuff
sauce.
right there.
I got some dipping sauce.
That's theirs right there.
So,
You got anything for baldness?
either you could maybe, I got some for baldness. You don't need that. Either for yourselves or pass them on to somebody
We could
in
for our camping
need.
bags.
Or, yeah, right, that's what I'm thinking, that you might could give them, but if you want to take it home and use it, you get first, everybody gets first choice. Another thing that I'm seeing here is that this is a multi-generational group of people. And in our country, it is difficult to access multi-generational events, and groups. So that's also a big fat plus.
We get all kinds of perspective,
Yeah, we do.
All right, I'm gonna let you all leave. We might be, I don't know if we need to remove the bench.
Just one thing, if everyone can go follow us on our Facebook, Operation Regroup, PTSD. Just give us a follow, a like, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and it really helps if you comment. And with the Facebook thing, if you see something that these fellows post, and you're not necessarily interested or whatever, if you just write the word fun or yes or go, the more people comment on your stuff, the more it gets shared.
Exactly. Literally, the algorithms will put it at the top of people's feeds,
Right.
even though if you don't share it. So it's always great to do those things.
And that's the way you guys clearly. That's the way you can help your artist friends is by commenting on their posts. Comment and share. Comment and share. All right, if you guys will take that bench out that way.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you for having us
We're
on
gonna
the
get
show.
nice work. You see this? Look at this. And they just haul the bench right out. These people are okay, we're gonna have have some stools hauled in. All in the stools. The stools. We must have the stools. Thank you. And the stars. The stars. We must have the stars. Welcome back. You want to do?
Perfect.
It's my talent, you know.
Stuck on your shoe. I got it.
I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna. Oh, Bud Good.
Yes, ma'am.
Now,
Right.
Bud Good, is he in? Does he have to be? Can we get Bud Good and standing in the middle here?
But good kids.
Or you can stand on the other side.
Or you can stand on the other side.
I will.
One or the other. It goes like just a little pin it. Oh, that's right. It's my talent. See how everybody comes to me when they want to know where to put the microphone? I'm going to pin it like right about here, and then maybe it will work for him also.
Okay.
Okay. We have Johnny 11 over here. And we have Bud Good. What kind of
And I'm
talent?
Bob Kraemer.
And Bob Kraemer. And I'm Laura Shepard. And that was the Laura Shepard Show. Woo! Okay. You want to tell anything about it, or you want to just bust
We're just
into
going
it?
to do some blues.
All right.
Too much. Hey, what's the matter with me? I ain't got much to say. Daylight sneaking through my window. I'm up in this all-night cafe. Walking to and fro beneath the moon, where the trucks are rolling slow. I'll just sit on this bank of sand. I'm watching the river flow. Wish I was back in the city instead of this old bank of sand. Oh, with the sun beating down, oh, shouldn't it done? The one I love so close at hand. If I had wings and I could fly, I know where I would go. But for now, I'll just sit here, so particularly, watching the river. Oh, people disagree everywhere you look. Makes you want to write a book. Only yesterday, I met a man, he was really shook. But this old river keep on rolling down. No matter what gets in the way, whichever way the wind does blow, as long as it does, I'll be sitting here watching the river flow. Oh my God. Oh yeah. funny thing, yep. Makes you kind of wonder why. Only yesterday, saw a man on the street, couldn't help but cry. Yeah, good darling, this old river keep on rolling on. No matter what, can see the way, whichever way the wind does blow. And as long as it does, I've been sitting there watching the river flow. Yes, and as long as it does, people, I've been watching the river flow. Yeah, I'm watching the river flow. Ooh, yeah, watching the river flow. Watch the river flow. Oh yeah!
Yeah. There's one there, there's one here. Okay. Let me say that I'm leaving the country. I will be in New Zealand for the next show. I'll be filming Sunday at 11 New Zealand time, which is 17 hours earlier. Feel free to check in. Go to Patreon, become a patron. Leave some money in the tip jar on your way out. Okay, ready? Don't think much about what could go wrong. I don't think much about the evening news. Lord knows we don't sing the blues. I don't like ham and I do like toast. I certainly don't care who you hate the most. I don't care how it's always been done. You can give in but still have some. Carry my weight in a bushel basket.